surrogate, whether you think Meghan was wearing a moon bump. The fact is, Harry and Meghan lied. Buckingham Palace lied on their behalf. There was a complete cover-up over the birth of Prince Archie. And we have to keep looking.
Organically, I'm assuming, because it really did just go, it bounced off the walls. Did you think it was a parody? Because I did, Scott. I thought that this was AI. I thought this cannot be real.
The reason I didn't think it was AI is because it looks like the stomach is fake, where the baby, I swear that's the first thing I thought, because I know you have monitors and stuff on you when you're in that.
Born by Meghan Markle, it has to be Prince Harry's child. They can't use a surrogate. And so people are saying, we deserve to know.
One royal update on a website, that's all it took to send Meghan Markle into full crisis mode. This was not any update though, it was a digital slap to the face, and the message couldn't be clearer. You're either in the firm or you're out.
And it, a couple of years, I guess, or however hell it is. And that it was just a bad decision is what it hit me when I saw this. I was just a bad decision a couple of years ago.
Well, this will, to either one of you, please.
Meghan Markle had a bad week. Correction that. She is having a spectacular one. If you were a fly on the wall in their Montecito house, you would most likely find a disorganized war room. Meghan is pacing in circles, clutching her phone like a weapon, her legal pads strewn with hurried notes, voice rising with every call to her inner circle. The usually calm Duchess spinning. And this time it's not about photographers or tabloids, no. This time it is personal.
And the weirdness involving both of Meghan Markle's pregnancies. And I actually, at one point, took on...
The official royal website made a terrifying action while the world was busy doom surfing, sipping lattes, or watching reality TV. The royal family silently launched a bombshell disguised as a digital update with zero fanfare and no single warning. Profile of Princess Lilibet was erased. No oops, no soft press release, no justification, simply gone with an incorrect button. She was there 1 minute. Her name, picture, regal birthright. The next disappeared into digital oblivion.
Harry and Meghan have dealt with conspiracy theories around.
And although Lilibet is still listed in the royal line of succession, a technicality they had to retain to avoid a lawsuit firestorm her personal page, the recognition, the visibility, the symbolism was clean, not archived, not updated, obliterated.
Video when Meghan was apparently in hospital in labor with Lily. Because in Camilla Tominay's article, her analysis of this, she didn't even for a single...
To the illiterate, to royal watchers, PR strategists, and palace insiders, this was a message. A cold, calculated message given not in words, but in HTML and silence. It may seem like a small change, a trivial rearrange of a web page. The monarchy has always been renowned for its subtlety. This was a digital dagger coated in ice, and Meghan is aware of.
Royal watchers is because for their children to be in the line of succession, they have to be born by Meghan Markle. It has to be Prince Harry's child. They can't use a surrogate. And so people are saying, we deserve to know if these children are in the line of succession, if they truly came from Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. Now, they have never addressed the rumors head on. I don't think in spare.
When the news got to her, she apparently went explosive. Just the cold push of a delete button behind royal gates. No warning, no debate, no one from the palace phones. Sources close to Meghan's camp claim that she feels betrayed once more. This time more severely, since it's about her daughter. Her innocent 2-year-old daughter being digitally ghosted by the family that should be safeguarding her legacy, and the timing seems especially surgical.
If you're a journalist, at the very least, you've got to ask questions about this. And she came back with a very snippy response, as if I was some type of conspiracy theorist and, us people who are in the...
This lacked some standard web page cleanliness above. No other profiles were deleted. No other youngster was inexplicably taken off the royal list. And the palace has engaged in this game before as well. Recall when the profiles of Harry and Meghan were subtly pulled from the homepage? The palace said it was a simple design shuffle when press sources observed. But even back then, insiders murmured about internal retribution wrapped in redesigns.
Addresses the rumors of whether Archie and Lily were born, came from Meghan Markle's womb. But it is something that I have always tried to be like, I don't want to talk about this. I look at Meghan Markle in that Oprah interview. I see a heavily pregnant and slightly angry woman.
But this is different from others. Meghan believes she understands exactly why they did it. Thus, this seems permanent, petty, even cruel. Insiders claim the Duchess feels the conflict around Lilibet's birth certificate is the reason behind this digital murder.
Bill wrote, "We could never be as irresponsible as you, Dad." That was the tone of her response. And that's why I wanted to talk about Archie's birth. Because remember,
yes, that birth certificate. The one royal commentators have fixated over for months. The one that, according to some reports, wasn't produced during official documentation requests. The one that fuels conspiracies and questions about whether Lilibet was born in California as claimed, or even born at all by Meghan herself. Wild, absolutely. But Meghan is sure the palace is now armed with those rumors, which have gotten louder.
It's been out there for years. It's never been addressed head on. And both of you, please comment if you have anything to say, but I have read several.
By removing Lilibet's profile, Meghan thinks there is a message the royal family is delivering. Show me proof. She sees it as an attempt to minimize her daughter's royal position without publicly launching a battle. A provocation meant to push her to the brink, to force a public move, maybe even a legal one. She might also bite, as Meghan is allegedly visiting legal advisors, sifting through records, investigating possibilities behind closed doors. She is angry, but she also is strategic. She is not about to let them make her daughter invisible, not without a fight. She understands this was not only an emotional gesture from the palace, but also a tactical one.
To focus on all of the discrepancies surrounding Archie's birth. At the time, I was in the mainstream media. I was the executive editor of the Sun newspaper. I was determined.
And think twice if you believe this is only a case of a disgruntled mother vented in private. Already churning behind the scenes is Meghan's close circle. Lawyers preparing statements and allies in Hollywood and Silicon Valley are silently mobilized for assistance. Whispers of a media strategy being developed abound. The palace might have miscalculated if they felt they could delete a child's name from a website and leave without damage.
On the internet over the last few days that said this video did nothing to help that. In fact, it just reignites the conversation. Scott, do you have a reaction?
For a time, let us turn back the clock. Recall that now notorious clip that illuminated the internet like a Christmas tree. Meghan Markle, significantly pregnant, smiling and dancing in a loose-fitting dress, caught mid-twerk in what was supposed to be a carefree moment, except almost like a prop, her baby belly moved in a manner no baby bump should. Too buoyant, too shapeless.
And I did in this piece, which was published on the 10th of May 2019 and headlined "Call the Mishap. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry forced to deny."
Originally just social media chatter, a few meme accounts here, a Reddit theory there, but for a time, let us turn back the clock. Recall that now notorious clip that illuminated the internet like a Christmas tree. Meghan Markle, significantly pregnant, smiling and dancing in a loose-fitting dress, caught mid-twerk in what was supposed to be a carefree moment. Except almost like a prop, her baby belly moved in a manner no baby bump should. Too buoyant, too shapeless. Now, in light of the palace's deliberate digital erasure of Princess Lilibet's profile, that old video has resurfaced with fresh scrutiny, and this time, the conversation has taken a far darker turn, because now it's not just about how a bump bounced, but rather about what's buried beneath the paperwork, the fuel to this rising firestorm. Using the birth certificate,
reignite that situation, because it doesn't look real to me. There's so much that's missing from this. As from a body language perspective, of course, that's the first thing.
Generally on the surface, it should have dampened the noise of a basic public document, eagle birth-stamped confirmation of identity. Rather, it did the exact reverse. Eagle-eyed royal observers saw something unusual fast, not exactly California. The area code connected to the certificate wasn't either. Colorado it was. Colorado.
Thing to see here, folks, no reason to ask any questions about this when I was in the mainstream in May 2019, and it was so obvious to me that so many lies had been told about Archie's birth, and I wanted to find out why. Why do you think there has been such a lack of interest from other mainstream journalists on this issue?
Not Santa Barbara, not even Los Angeles, Colorado. A state devoid of Duke and Duchess of Sussex connection. At least not officially. And that minute detail has since become a full-blown conspiracy. Why would evidence pointing to Colorado exist for a kid delivered in Santa Barbara Cottage Hospital, a top California institution? Just the beginning. Was it a mistake, a cover-up, or something significantly more coordinated?
Do this. The reason I wanted to talk about this is because I think it's really gut.
Analyzers found additional unusual absences as they descended further. The certificate omitted important details on mother. Story Raglan left out all details. That's not only a clerical error in official records, particularly for a royal adjacent child, the exclusions are obvious and purposefully exclude a mother line on a birth certificate. That is planned, not only strange. And all the past whispers suddenly come back with force.
Logical standpoint than me, but I'm not seeing any stress in there. I'm not seeing two people who are worried about having a baby. I don't see that connection between the husband and the wife where he's saying, look, everything's going to be fine because she should be scared.
Quiet whispers for years that Meghan had a hysterectomy during her previous marriage to producer Trevor Engelson have persisted. Naturally, there are no verified medical records, only murmurs. But you start to see the outline of a probable cover-up when you put those murmurs next to the apparently unclear birth certificate, the dancing bump video, and the palace's cold action to remove Lilibet from the royal grounds. One word keeps coming back to me: surrogacy is.
We don't see any of their personal items laying around the room anywhere when they're dancing around either. So there's a lot of things that are missing in this that should be there.
Let me be clear. Surrogacy is not a scandal. Not in Hollywood, not in progressive circles, not even in regular families looking for other paths to parenting. Rather, it is in the royal world. Oh, it's a powder keg. Because royal lineages are not only symbolic, they belong in a constitution. They have legal weight. The validity of a royal heir has nothing to do with love or intention. It is about birthright.
Gutless of these mainstream journalists to say, nothing to see here, folks. No reason to ask any questions about this, when I was in the mainstream in May 2019, and it was
Meghan's claim to her royal titles or even her place in the line of succession may be compromised if she used a surrogate and neglected to tell anyone, including the public or, more dangerously, the monarchy. This isn't merely crazy tabloid rumors either. This is the law. The British royal family runs under a rigid system whereby birth legitimacy and openness are not choices. They're mandated. It's farm words. This is why the stakes are so great. Even inadvertently, Meghan and Harry may have put their children in a dangerous legal gray zone if they skipped over procedure or neglected to complete the appropriate paperwork. One could say that's something that happened because they can die. The palace is silently and maybe coldly beginning to behave as it ought to. Not a word, not a declaration, not a denial, nor a reassurance, simply quiet. A silence louder than any press release attempting to capture.
his birth. Buckingham Palace answers 8 queries surrounding the birth of baby Archie. Brittany from the Royal News Network is with me for this. And Brittany, the reason I wanted...
But make no mistake, they are observing. Insiders say the company has known about these discrepancies for some time. Some even claim that Meghan and Harry were greeted with such cold responses on recent occasions, that subtle side-eye from senior royals, the embarrassing avoidance of frontal camera views of the children, the rejection to let Lilibet be christened in Windsor, it had nothing personal about it. It was strategic.
Being worn out, because a lot of times it's either early in the morning or late at night, and they look well rested and in a good mood.
All right,
it
Dr.
doesn't
G.
look right to me.
Well, I'm glad you said it, Dr. G. You go ahead and go now.
So obviously I'm a psychologist, not a physician, so there may be physicians out there that are like, yeah, this is...
One can be condemned, another can be eliminated. And Meghan Markle is quite aware of the differences. The palace erased Princess Lilibet's profile, not just a passive-aggressive punch, but also a flex, a digital chess action aimed to shake her. But most people miss something else. This was not a reflexive action. It was planned, exact, timed, and most certainly the opening shot of a far bigger campaign.
Other mainstream journalists on this issue.
Well, I do definitely think that because of...
You are mistaken if you believe the royal family operates in theater. They deal silently, and quiet when weaponized is terrible. There's a subdued, almost sinister code of behavior from Buckingham to Kensington to Clarence House. Don't confront, don't respond, simply erase and then let the public handle the nasty job. It is violent in punch and wonderful in its subtleties. Meghan's up against is just this.
Anecdotal experience with my wife, who was very, very large during pregnancy. The idea of her moving like that would have been impossible. She just couldn't have done it. So, you know, she was pale, she was swollen, she was...
Insiders claim the palace did more than just remove Lilibet profile in a vacuum. It was part of a coordinated tightening of control, one that has been gradually growing since the Sussex's Netflix documentary aired. A slow burn, a pressure cooker of royal revenge. And make no mistake, they are retaliating after years of bombshell interviews, podcast jabs, tell all, autobiographies, and public charges from Harry and Meghan. The palace has clearly had enough, but instead of starting a PR war, they have taken a more sinister path: modification. They are omitting rather than stating, so altering the story.
I think some in the mainstream media do want to stay away from that, which I totally understand. I am not somebody who actually subscribes to the notion that Meghan used a surrogate. And the reason is, especially in the UK, that would have been...
Initially, it was the quiet down on Harry and Meghan's profiles on the royal website. Then came the rejection to have Lilibet and Archie included in formal royal occasions, no balcony appearances, no birthday wishes sent, not even a picture from the Queen's Jubilee. And now Lilibet's individual recognition is totally deleted. One step at a time, the palace is cutting the digital strands linking the Sussex children to the monarchy. Why? Doubt drives us to.
It is shocking to me. It does look very strange. Like I said, there may be medical professionals that disagree and say it's totally...
Senior royal advisors have reportedly pointed up anomalies in the documentation surrounding Lilibet birth, the Colorado area code, missing mother details, lack of a verified UK witness, unusual for royal births, even those occurring overseas. Though these seem little to the company, they raise concerns. Now the palace is acting in line with its best interests, turning its...
really difficult to pull off. Now, was she vain enough to think sometimes that her belly didn't look...
rather than complete rejection, perfectly natural? That would be far too American, too blatant. No, this is more delicate and more terrible. Lilibet is being erased by them, not out of wrath, but rather with accuracy. The kind of cold institutional authority that doesn't shout, it just removes. Meghan notes it for what it is: institutional ghosting, and finds it to be really profound.
Her belly, I could 100% believe that. And I understand why people question things. I understand it, so I don't think it's...
Harry has stayed mostly silent during all this. No comments, no tweets, no rebuttal. Hence, they are also delivering a message to Harry. And for the palace, that quiet speaks to guilt or worse, weakness. Some insiders think this is their means of testing him. Will he publicly defend his daughter? Will he question the establishment? Or will he follow like a Windsor? Should Meghan fears he is caught for a couple who once turned the world upside down with a single Oprah interview, the silence coming from Harry and Meghan right now is deafening. No Instagram post, not even a strategic leak to the friendly outlets, just radio silence from Montecito, and that silence is starting to speak volumes.